There are partnerships that dominate the headline, and there are partnerships that quietly alter the architecture of the global power. And this belongs to the second category because the world remains distracted by Washington, Beijing, Moscow, and remarkably calculated alliances emerging across Indo-Pacific. Alliance between India and New Zealand. At first glance, it sounds improbable. One nation with 1.4 billion people and other with barely 5 million. One an emerging superpower, the other that is geographically isolated Pacific democracy. So, why the strategists suddenly paying attention? Why did New Zealand move with unusual speed to finalize a historic agreement with India? And why is billions of dollars now flowing towards Indian infrastructure, technology and supply chain? And why are defense observers quietly calling this one of the most smartest geopolitical pivots of the decade? Tonight we decode the partnership that world underestimated. This is StraightX Decoded with Chaman Nayak. Hello, Namaskar, welcome you to today's episode of StraightX. For decades, India and New Zealand maintained a polite diplomacy but limited to strategic depth. There was goodwill, there was trade, but there was no urgency. But that changed the moment of Indo-Pacific became the new epicenter of the global competition. Because in modern geopolitics is no longer fought only with missiles and militaries, it is fought through ports, it is fought through trades and corridors, semiconductor routes, maritime infrastructure, digital infrastructure, and supply chain dominance. And both India and New Zealand understand this fundamental truth. Now, whoever saves the Indo-Pacific saves the future of the global economy, which explains why this partnership is far bigger than the trade agreement. At the center of this transformation lies a sweeping free trade agreement that both nations accelerated after nearly a decade of stealth negotiation. This scale is extraordinary. India now gains expanded access for pharmaceuticals, engineering goods, digital services, textile, and advanced manufacturing exports. Whereas, on the other hand, New Zealand secures a stronger access in forestry, premium agriculture, seafood, and high value food system. But beneath the economics lies something far more strategic, and that is influence. Because New Zealand, like several middle powers, is beginning to diversify away from excessive dependence on China. Carefully, quietly, strategically, and India represents something uniquely valuable: scale without submission, democratic economic giant position directly at the center of Indian Pacific trade routes. Then comes the number that truly matters: nearly $20 billion in long-term investment commitment towards India directed into renewable infrastructure, agri-tech, logistics, food processing, digital ecosystem, and next generation supply chain. This is not just a symbolic diplomacy, this is strategic capital positioning for the next economic era. And the relationship does not stop at economics. For the first time, the defense cooperation between the nation is accelerating with visible seriousness because the India and the Pacific Ocean are no longer separated by geopolitical theaters. They are now interconnected pressure points that is rapidly shifting the global order. Officially, this partnership is not directed against any country. Unofficially, China remains the silent variable influencing in every calculation. And perhaps the most fascinating part of the story, the most consensual geopolitics shift rarely begin with confrontation. They begin with alignment, economic alignment, technological alignment, strategic alignment, and precisely what we are witnessing here. But maybe the real significance of this partnership lies beyond the trade figures and defense agreement. Maybe it reflects something larger, A world is moving away from the singular superpowers towards intelligent coalition of strategic middle powers. And India is positioning itself at the center of this transition, not through aggression, not through spectacle, but through calculated influence. It belongs to the nation building the strongest network while everyone else is distracted, and quietly, methodically, strategically, India is doing exactly that. This is StraightX Decoded with Chaman Nayak. That's all from today's analysis. I will be back with another episode. Till then, just watch StraightX.